Every year for 60 years, the Yurok tribe has celebrated their Klamath Salmon Festival. The festival celebrates the salmon of the Klamath River and their importance to the culture and vitality of the Yurok people. The morning began with a beautiful drive down the rainy, foggy Redwood Coast Highway to Klamath, where I was joined by Redwood Voice's Monique Camarena. The festival kicked off with the Ney-Puey run, followed by a parade. The parade had a more personal feel compared to Crescent City's 4th of July parade. You could reach out and touch the floats. One of my old friends from elementary school who was in the parade even walked up and handed me a Butterfinger. After the parade was the stick game tournament. Coaches and players from many of our region's tribes, including the Yurok, Tolowa, Karuk, and Hoopa, came together to compete in the energetic sport. We asked one of the players about what the stick games involve and how they came to be.
Hello, my name is Renewal Martinez. I am from Crescent City, but right now I live in Eureka.
Awesome. And what brought you here to the Salmon Festival?
I came here to play the stick game. This is where pretty much all the natives come and hang out. It's just a great place to be.
So what does the stick game involve? What's the goal?
The stick game involves these sticks right here that have a hook at the end right here. And these is to hook the hook's supposed to hook the tassels right here, like this. And the stick games is like a mixture of lacrosse, wrestling, and football. And there's one end of the field and there's another end of the field. It's usually played on a sand or gravel pit, maybe sometimes dirt. And the whole reason that we had this stick game back then is so we didn't have to go to war. So what we do is if tribes are having disputes, we'd use this as a game to show who's the superior tribe.
And in modern day, how's the stick game viewed nowadays?
So the stick game nowadays, well, we usually just play for fun, sometimes cash prizes. It's just for fun nowadays.
And how long have you been playing?
I've been playing since I want to say around 8.
What's your favorite part about playing it?
The community. My favorite part of the stick games is community and who runs it, around it.
Would you say it's harder than it looks?
Yeah, I would say it's harder than it looks.
Whilst the stick games were going on, other activities including an arm wrestling tournament, youth basketball game, and gambling games were being held throughout the small community of Klamath. The festival is also host to a variety of vendors selling everything from apparel to food. Due to the shortages of the salmon on the Klamath River, this year marked the second year in a row in which salmon meals were not actually available at the festival. Instead, some jarred salmon was available to be raffled off. I spoke with Angel of the Two Rivers Pet Welfare Services about the salmon raffle.
I'm Angel. I'm here with the Two Rivers Pet and Wildlife Welfare Services. We're here offering some freebies and some educational material.
I noticed it says a salmon raffle, so what's the raffle?
Yeah, so we're actually here raffling off some salmon. It was donated by Patrick Wilson, some of the only salmon here today, and it is a donation to help raise funds for animal rescue.
Awesome. And how come the salmon dinner isn't here this year?
The salmon dinner isn't here because there are all-time record lows of salmon due to overfishing and economic problems and also environmental problems.
And so far, how's the raffle booth been going?
The raffle's actually been going really well. We've sold over 350 tickets and raised over $1,200 that will all go back to animal rescue.
Awesome. And that's just today?
No, so that is over the course of about a month that we've been selling. And so far we're actually doing really well today because of the lack of salmon, so people are really interested in our cause as well.
And you noticed the turnout at the Salmon Festival is more or less this year?
So far it's been less, but we've also encountered some rain, especially along the way. That was a little bit of a hiccup. I haven't actually come for the past few years, but I'm hoping to see a lot of people today.
This year, the Salmon Festival is an extra special event as it marked the near end of the deconstruction of the dams on the Klamath River and the beginning of the process of restoring the Klamath to its original path. Here, the Klamath Dam Removal Company's Public Information Officer shares some more about the river's restoration. So what's your name and what are you doing here at the Salmon Festival?
My name is Red Brownell and I'm the Public Information Officer for the Klamath Dam Removal Project. So awesome. I'm here to answer folks' questions and fill them in on the project status.
I noticed this booth has been really busy. A lot of people just curious about how the dam removal's going, or?
Yeah, I mean, we're at a really exciting point in the project. We're nearing the end, and so I think folks are everybody's been really excited stopping by.
What's the progress you've made this year?
We made huge progress this year. So we removed one dam last year, Copco number 2, and the other 3 we've been removing this year. Before we could remove them, we had to drain the reservoir. So first came drawdown. After drawdown was complete, the restoration began. We began deconstructing Copco number 1, which is the big concrete dam. And then in May, we were able to start all the earthen dams, which are Iron Gate and the J.C. Boyle Dam up in Oregon. And crews have been hard at work since then, and we're, like I said, nearing the end. We already returned the river to its historic path up at the J.C. Boyle Dam site in Oregon, and we'll be doing that at the Iron Gate Dam site and the Copco number 1 dam site here in a couple weeks, by the end of August, early September. So it's getting close to the end. And even after we restore the historic path, there will still be work to be done, but it's looking like we're going to be done by around the end of September.
Wow, that's exciting.
And how does the algae affect the salmon?
Well, so there's not all algae is bad, right? So up at these reservoirs in particular, there were such big algae blooms that it could impair the dissolved oxygen in the water. So that's part of the issue. And then those warm waters also created issues with different kinds of fish diseases and parasites. Yeah, that's what the water looked like. I'm looking for mine.
This is not healthy. And this is what was caused by stagnant water in the reservoirs. That goo will not form like it does here in a moving river that's alive.
Well, and here, this is my favorite example. This is in a corner of the Iron Gate Reservoir in the Jenny Creek area. So the image I'm about to show you next isn't the river itself, but one of its tributaries. And historically, the tributary would travel through here and meet the Klamath River down below. It hasn't been able to do that in about 70 years. And one of my favorite parts of the project was watching these waters drain to reveal this beautiful little creek that's there. And then the Yurok tribe and Resource Environmental Solutions worked together to help this creek find its historic path. So the sediments that were accumulated behind the dams were mostly dead algae. So that's what all this dark material is. It's super nutrient-rich dead algae. The other sediments are what you see here, which are sands and gravels that were contributed by Jenny Creek that usually would go downstream, but they hit the flat water of the reservoir and they stopped there. And so these guys did a lot of work restoring this stream, and they'll continue to do restoration work on this stream next year as well.
What do you hope to see changed by next Salmon Festival?
By next Salmon Festival, I hope about a year from now we're going to see less turbidity in the river, right? So because there's been a lot of sediments traveling downstream as we drain the reservoirs, and then when we break the coffer dams here at the end of the month, that will send another little pulse of sediment downstream. But the water should really have cleared up by this time next year, and I look forward to seeing the other benefits. Like I said, better sediment transport, cooler temperatures in the river, and hopefully less fish disease.
At noon, elders were invited to the Yurok Community Room for a free lunch. The rest of the Klamath Salmon Festival is filled with live performances by Brett McFarlane and the Freedom Riders, and Blue Rhythm Review, with the festival wrapping up at 3 p.m. Overall, this year's Klamath Salmon Festival is a grand event. Even though the day kicked off with adverse weather, people came through and the turnout was good. With the dam removal and river restoration, we'll hopefully see a return of fresh salmon meals to the Klamath Salmon Festival next year. If you'd like more information about the Klamath Salmon Festival, you can visit www.yuroktribe.org/salmon-festival. For Redwood Voice Community News, I'm Ethan Caudill-DeRego.